I'm very grateful to you and your college to have invited me to deliver a speech on this aspect of science fiction. And my regards to everyone who have already spoken, Dr. Balaji, Dr. Bal Phondke, Dinkar Charak, and other speakers who have already spoken, and my regards to all, and love to everyone who is listening and who is attending this conference. I am also very obliged to Damien, who came that way, who spare his valuable time to come over here and give some insights on mythology and science fiction correlations. Dr. Balaji, you have my slides with you. If you could show
yes,
it
sir,
from time to time, it's okay. Otherwise, I would deliver on the topic. So
yes, sir, please proceed.
So, okay, you do your job, I am doing my job.
Yes, sir.
So, friends, Indian mythology as contained in Indian scriptures abounds in imaginative ideas. And so is the case with science fiction. Carl Sagan was very impressed by these sources of ancient knowledge, and once appealed science fiction writers to delve deep into Indian mythology to get original science fiction ideas. Many of such imaginative dreams of our ancestors are still in queue to be realized in want of appropriate technology, though many have already seen the light of the day. There are extrapolations, imaginative themes, and descriptions of gadgets in contemporary SF and in Indian mythology, often quite alike. In Ramayana, for example, there is a description of a very special kind of aeroplane that is infused with artificial intelligence and emotions named Pushpak Vimana. You remember Rendezvous with Rama by Clark? The spaceship Rama has emotions. Pushpak Viman also possesses a vacant seat always for any last minute VIP entrant. That could be possible by developing smart design ships, smart design objects. Sudarshan Chakra, a kind of revolving disc and specially designed arrows used by Lord Krishna and Lord Rama in war fields, return to them immediately after hitting the target. And you see today's guided missiles, how equal they are. Maya Yudh, a kind of illusionary war, Mahamaya Yuddha, a kind of virtual war, you could say, as described in the epic Ramayana, causes no real damage to enemy soldiers, but is practiced only to frighten enemies who ultimately surrender owing to all sorts of dreadful imageries, horrible imageries. You know that by using neutron bomb, we can destroy the objects, physical objects, but not the organisms, human beings. That is similar what has been depicted in Maya Yudh by Meghnad. These stories have been very popular among Indian psyche. Message and such ideas could very well be used in modern science fiction stories, writing with ingenuity in order to woo Indian audience. So that is an introduction to the today's topic. There is a temptation to draw analogies between science fiction and mythology among science fiction enthusiasts and writers. Science fiction, like mythological imaginations, depicts a world which is contemporarily non-existent. In science fiction also, the world which is penned down does not exist, at least in parallel world of writers, of a writer when he is penning his story. And science fiction has often been stated, therefore, to be a form of contemporary mythology. Or as you just heard, Damien's scholarly speech, in which he said that science fiction of today is in fact nothing but modern mythology. Our significant differences, only significant differences lies in the region application and description of technology in science fiction. Myths lack such approach, understandably, because technology as we witness today was not in existence in earlier times. Ideas, nevertheless, are no less important, which have been found to pave the ways for new inventions. Ancient wisdom could be enriched and supplemented with modern technology in science fiction. Mythological ideas, when complemented with modern technology, could give rise to wonderful science fiction themes. On the above premise, a survey work was envisaged by us, which searched for ideas and concepts in Indian mythological story for the purpose of using them in various print and electronic science fiction media in order to impart the intended scientific knowledge in lucid ways in targeted Indian audience. Yes, there is a caution that the mythological stories must not be taken as the incidences and events described in them having been actually happened in remote past. They should be taken as ideas only and be judiciously used in context to present their knowledge of science and technology. As an instance, I must quote here an example how I used an idea from a mythological story of King Pradyumna, who was son of Lord Krishna. And there was an ensuing fight between Devas and Sambarasur, who was very formidable demon. And even Lord Krishna could not defeat him in battles. Child Pradyumna was born with the boon that he could only kill demon Sambarasur, but only he attains an age of at least puberty. In that story, which has been written in detail in Puranas, child Pradyumna's age is accelerated in a ritual in order to make him strong enough to defeat the mighty and invincible demon. I used this idea in my story entitled Alvida Professor, that is Goodbye Professor, which was written in 2001 to accelerate the aging of the protagonist by imagining technology of growth genes being inserted in man's genome and embryonic stage in order to accelerate his aging process and face the tough situation of the harsher future world without being dependent on the parents for a very long time. Here the abracadabra of the myth was replaced by logical and scientifically probable technology. We know that parental care is a long time affair in humans, as the children could fend for themselves only after they are of adolescent age. The example may be a guide in line in using mythological ideas in similar vein and could invariably be incorporated with technologies taking clues from modern science and technology. Similar approach could be employed by science fiction writers while dealing with the cited mythological ideas here. Now I will give some glimpses of the ideas in our mythology of certain gadgets, which are really very stunning, how they could imagine such kind of things around 1,000 years past. Alien worlds. Alien worlds have been described vividly in mythological stories. They are called Loka in vernacular, other than Earth, Patal Loka, an imaginary world underneath the earth. A description had already been given by Dr. Sri Narahari in 2007 about these lokas. He has provided with a vivid description of many worlds akin to alien worlds of science fiction and fantasies. A fairy world called Gandharva Loka, Chandra Loka, Naga Loka, Yaksha Loka, Kinnara Loka, Matsya Loka. There are many such lokas which are there in our mythological story. And interestingly, there are many kinds of lokas in our universe as depicted in science fiction stories of today. Lucid accounts of heaven and hell, worlds beyond the earth, have been also given in our scriptures along with fascinating interwoven plots, which may ignite SF writers to take up a new story plots in light of emerging and predicted technologies, though such imagined bizarre worlds are already being depicted in many SF movies. Recent movie Avatar is a case in point where the concept of Avatar, the incarnation of Indian mythology, has been replaced with a downloading of entire memory of a protagonist into a genetic replica of the protagonist in an alien world where he looks like Krishna of our religions. There are many celestial abodes. In Mahabharata, there is a story of Trishank. Many of you would be aware of the story of projected into space by one sage, Vishwamitra. This looks like imaginative leap of ancestors of the land, indicating that the sky could be conquered by man one day. King Trishanku, according to Indian mythology, decided to perform a great sacrifice which would enable him to ascend bodily to heaven. Sage Vishwamitra assisted him in this pursuit. But in heaven, Indra, the king of gods, barred his entry, and Trishanku was thrown back to earth from the celestial abode of the gods. Sage Vishwamitra in rage started creating new constellations and new forms of life, a kind of new world, and became a threat to the work of Brahma, the creator in Hindu trinity, others being Vishnu, the preserver, and Lord Shiva, a destroyer. In the tussle which ensued, Trishanku was made immortal by stopping his downward fall midway between heaven and earth. Since then, he has been hanging up above the earth as the story narrates it. Interestingly, in 1945, Arthur C. Clarke wrote an article published in Wireless World that placing 3 geostationary satellites compared to Trishanku above the equator would revolutionize global telecommunication. Thus, a mythological idea, you see, to find ultimately a way into science fiction and may become a reality one day. Lagrange points are another concept where the gravitational force becomes equal. And see how Trishanku is hanging there. In maybe if today's modern thought is applied on that Trishanku's model, it could be said that there is some sort of imagination in our ancestors parallel to Lagrange points. Space travels have been vividly described in our mythology. There are many descriptions of flying machines called Vimans in Indian epics. Air travel can be traced back in descriptions of Pushpak Vimana, an aeroplane which has been shown to possess even emotions, as I have already described. Mythological stories depict interstellar travels too in interesting ways. Narada, a humorous protagonist and at the same time a sage with prophetic vision, is often referred to as Trilok Sanchari. There is one who could travel in all the conventional worlds, namely the earth, paradise, and the hell, or even to underground worlds, and many instantaneously, and he may instantaneously reach to any part of the universe. Present day science fiction writing has a penchant for such interplanetary interstellar travels, where traveling with the speed of light and even faster and going back in the past instead of future offers many amazing story plots to work upon. War weapons. That is another a very interesting aspect of Indian mythology and science fiction as well. War weapons like Sudarshana Chakra, the revolving disc or circular disc, weapon of God Vishnu and his avatara Lord Krishna, which could chase the enemies to kill them where they might go for shelter. Sudarshan Chakra and especially designed arrows used by Lord Krishna and Lord Rama in war fields return to them immediately after hitting the target. And this should be compared with our today's guided missiles. Arrows like Narayana Shastra and Brahmastra have been depicted as weapon of mass destruction, but vary in powers of their destruction and effect in different situations. They could cause instantaneous rains or fire, or could even split the earth or the sky into pieces. Countering arrows by hero protagonist could neutralize the effect of enemy's attack. Could we work out on such ideas in light of existing technologies to provide a future world equipped with similar weapons in science stories? Like Maya Yuddha by Meghannath Ramayana, as I have already narrated. Another aspect is televiewing and telepathy. Idea of televiewing is very well present in Mahabharata. A protagonist, Sanjay, helps visually handicapped King Dhritarashtra witness and war which is ensuing in field of Kurukshetra. He describes it vividly, much as if it was the live telecast of today. And Sanjay was sitting aside Dhritarashtra, and he did not go to the war field. Further, Hindu gods have been shown equipped with powers to know what is the minds of their devotees or enemies. This is a fascinating idea to know what is going on minds of people sitting opposite while discussing issues of strategic importance. This becomes even more important as language is an imperfect way of expressing thoughts. Mythological ideas such as these may be explored further for a technological breakthrough to allow mind to meld into meld into directly with mind and instantly thought into thought so that a telepathic society can exist. This has been also explored by Asimov around 1981. Could we know the mind of a person opposite to us with the help of any imagined plausible technology? SF writers could try out such ideas. Cloning and genetic engineering is another very curious aspect. In Mahabharata, the birth of Kaurava, 100 in numbers, is described to have been resulted from fetus of premature birth. And imagination what modern cloning technology has made possible. Case in point, we could further explore ideas and scientifically proven technologies such as these to write science fiction story. Time travel. There are umpteen Mahabharata, notably of King Raivat, who went to meet Brahma to search a suitable bridegroom for his daughter, and finds to his utter dismay that many generations have already passed on earth. When he returns back, such stories amply provide glimpses of richness of prophetic vision of what ancient writers possessed and technologies emerge could be conceived many fascinating in many and which may see the light of the day. Parallel universe are there in our scriptures. The concept is also found in mythology, expressing an infinite number of universe, such as with its and they are all with gods. A bird protagonist named Kakbhushundui in Ramcharitmanas, an epic work by Indian medieval saint poet Tulsidas, has been depicted to enter to mouth of Lord Rama, reaches to his belly, and beholds many Brahmanda, universe in modern lingo, and even counter universes are there, as has been very surprisingly described in Ramcharitmanas. Thus narrates Kakbhusundi what Kakbhusundi says in Ramcharitmanas, a loosely translated one. I beheld multitudinous universes with many strange spheres, each more wonderful than rest, with countless stars, suns, and moons, innumerable mountains and vast terrestrial globes. Everything I saw had a distinctive stamp of its own universe. Sri Ramcharitmanas Uttarkand, verses 80 and 180, and verses 1 to 4. Idea of parallel alternate universe is fascinating and is the theme of many modern science fiction stories, and many more could be written implying similar themes. Eternal youth, reverse and accelerating aging. Story of King Yayati is described in Mahabharata provides a strange account how an aged king exchanged his age with youthfulness of his youngest son and returned it to him later. In yet another story, the aging process of Pradyumna, as described earlier, is there. And and one, the Chavan Rishi, we takes one potion, one medicine. Today we know the Chavanpras, and he became very youthful even after being senile. So these things are there, which could give a very fertile idea for today's science fiction writers to dwell, to write upon fascinating stories. And if you mix ideas of Indian mythology with today's technology, a beautiful science fiction story could be written. Carl Sagan was very impressed by this ancient wisdom, and once appealed science fiction writers, as I already said, to go for pearls and dive deep into the sea of Indian mythology to find invaluable pearls for the science fiction stories. In such myth-inspired science fiction stories, Indian audience is easily lured as they have grown up with similar mythical concepts and ideas, thus imparting of modern scientific and technological developments, though through such innovative approach become tenable. Recent film Avatar is a befitting example, which became very popular among Indian audience as it has many Indian mythological elements cleverly interwoven with this plot. Myths generally focus on superhuman characters, the way superheroes are depicted in science fiction stories. Both mythical and SF stories usually deal with super realistic, that is surrealistic stuff, while myth is usually regarded as true accounts of the remote past, though they are actually fictional ideas, according to me. SF deals with hitherto non-existent worlds, and by that implication, the worlds of future are even parallel futures unknown by us, or even distant future. Presently, various formats of storytelling are being employed involving mythological features to reach among greater audience for a widespread communication across the globe. Various elements of myth could now be found in visual science fiction movies and television shows. The basis of modern storytelling here seems to be deeply rooted in mythological tradition. Mythological archetypes such as cautionary tales regarding the abuse of newly gained knowledge, battles between gods, and creation stories are lately the subject of same science fiction film productions. Such films are often created under the guise of cyberpunk, thrillers, action cinema, apocalyptic tales, etc., which are nothing but different subgenre of science fiction. Films such as Clash of Titans and The Immortals exhibited a trend of mining traditional mythology in order to directly improve a plot for modern consumption. So conclusion is, present all this description indicate that Indian mythology coupled with today's technological breakthroughs could give a wide spectrum from which the modern science fiction writer can pick and choose to create unique works of science fiction. Thank you.